أهلا وسهلا بكم، تحياتي الجميع مع حلقة جديدة من ألبرتا بالعربي من كاغري ريد اف ام على ترددنا 106.7 كاغري. أهلا وسهلا بكم. معنا اليوم الضيفة المتميزة الضيفة المتميزة مريم. تحياتي مريم وأهلا وسهلا فيكي.
عليكم السلام.
مريم, I think يعني first of all before I start قبل ما احكي اي شيء بس بدي اقول لك انا يعني انا كثير مبسوط بالانشطه اللي عم شوفها من خلال السوشيال ميديا. بصراحه هيك تعرفت عليك يعني، فانا كنت كثير مبسوط بالاكتيفيتيز بهالبروجرام اللي انت عم تسويها. ف regardless of where we're going to go from this conversation بس بدي اياك تعرفي انه نحن as a community من جد يعني مقدرين هذا الشيء، ويعطيك العافيه ونتمنى لك التوفيق we appreciate your effort. So I'm gonna start if you don't mind احكي لنا شوي عن مريم لنعرف مين مريم وشو اسم الاورجنايزيشن تبعك.
أنا اسمي مريم. أنا سورية وفلسطينية. ماما من سوريا وبابا فلسطيني, born and raised in Syria, and I was born and raised here in Canada. I'm the co-founder and director of Canadian Muslim Youth Alliance, ونحن youth-led national organization across Canada that connects Muslim youth all across Canada.
Okay. So born raised ولدان انت هون وما شاء الله بتحكي عربي كويس.
بحكي عربية.
صعب كان لك as a born raised in Canada تحكي عربي ولا؟
I would say not أصعب علي من غيري, بس أنا بفهم عربي أكثر ما بحكي عربي, بس بقدر أقرأ وأكتب عربي.
اوكي لانه نحن بنعرف كثير الجيل اللي مثلك يعني اللي ولدان هون بيكون بيفهم العربي بس بيكون صعب عليه انه يحكي وبالذات الدايالوج. انت عندك ما شاء الله فلوينت يعني. ف something انت you picked it up من البيت ولا انت اجتهاد شخصي؟
والله ماما هي ما بتخلينا نحكي عربي غير بالبيت, وكنا every weekend ونحن وصغار نروح مدرسة عربي نتعلم العربي.
I see. So الله تحياتي للوسيدة سيد الوالدة واكيد للسيد الوالد كمان. رح بلش معك, يا ريت تعرفينا عن الاورجنايزيشن تبعك. بصراحه انا يعني ما بعرف تقريبا شيء غير اللي انت سويتيه على السوشيال ميديا. شو الاورجنايزيشن تبعك يعني؟ شو ممكن تحكي لنا عنها كبدايه اذا في تعرفينا فيها للناس اللي ما بيعرفوا عنها شيء نهائيا؟ Canadian Muslim Youth Alliance.
Yes. So نحن youth-led national organization across Canada. أنا يعني growing up I wanted to build something structured and long-term, because in Canada I saw we have a lot of smart and passionate youth, but we don't always have unity or direction within our Muslim community. It's really strong, but we're often divided. And I've seen there's sometimes a lot of competition between groups and not enough collaboration, and everybody's working separately, and youth feel in these organizations, when I would volunteer or when I would speak with youth, I realized that they feel unheard or they're just not taken seriously, especially because there is that generational gap. So in how some generations approach leadership, but for me, I believe, like, as youth, we don't lack any talent. It's just the coordination. So that's why I felt that I needed to take initiative to create Canadian Muslim Youth Alliance to connect all of the Muslim youth, no matter the race or ethnicity across Canada, because I wanted to give youth a real voice in our community spaces and actually focus on action and not just conversation, and build something long term for future generations as well.
ما شاء الله. هلا خلينا نحاول نحكي. هل حكيتيه بالعربي؟
Oh, that's going to be a little bit difficult. نحط ترجمة.
شو بالعربي؟
يعني أنا شفت إنه كتير في كان disassociation بالجالية المسلمة الكندية, وكتير في disconnection
You're doing
وحبيت
good.
إنه أساوي تحالف للشباب الكنديين المسلمين
نعم.
مع بعض عشان I bridge that gap.
Yeah. كويس. No, this is amazing. I'm happy يعني ما شاء الله عليك. بس احنا بدنا نحكي شوية عربي شوية إنجليزي as much as we can.
Okay.
So هلا أنت born raised in this country، يعني أنت ولدانة بهالبلد وأنت من أصول عربية وأنت بنفس الوقت مسلمة. ويعني سؤالي هو مشان اللي عم يتساءل شو السبب اخترتي مثلا Canadian Muslims Youth Association versus Canadian Youth Association. يعني why the word Muslim? Why Islam? Why you identify yourself in that way being youth as well? يعني في ممكن تشرحي لنا شوي.
أنا يعني as a Muslim I grew up وشفت ال organizations والcommunity هون بكندا I was very involved يعني my parents were really involved in the community. They've been here for over 26 years in Canada. So I've always attended the events and I've been always part of everything that's going on in the Muslim community. And I saw an issue with there not being all of our community, all of the different Muslim cultural communities connected under one organization. I saw even in a specific country, for example, Syrian, for example, كل city بسوريا everybody has their own groups here in Canada. فحبيت unite everybody و put everyone under one organization لأني بالأخير نحن we're all مسلمين. And this is something that unites us all. So why not do this and unite everybody with in our organization?
This is beautiful. So بما انك يعني مولوده بهالبلد ومتربيه بهالبلد، بنت هالبلد مثل ما بيقولوا يعني يعني اذا بدي اسال سؤال كثير هيك دايركت، يعني كيف أثّرت هويتِك الكندية على القرار تبعِك؟ يعني وقت قررتِ أنا هلأ صرت مثلك بدي أحكي بالعربي بدي أحكي بالإنجليزي فمشان هيك بلشت أخبّص شوي. بدي أسألِك يعني بما إنِّك مولودة وولدانة هون، كيف أثّرت هويتِك على قرارِك to be active as a youth but also تختاري الموضوع البعد الإسلامي لهويتِك وليس فقط as a youth. يا هل ترى هي الثقافة إلها علاقة بدراستِك، إلها علاقة في كونِك كندية والّا you think it's unrelated؟
As Canadian Muslims يعني we're fully part of this country and I feel like our faith and our citizenship is not separate. It shapes who we are together. So being Muslim gives us value, and then being Canadian gives us the opportunity and the responsibility to lead initiatives like these.
Beautiful. أنا يعني مثل ما حكيت يعني any time you feel like you can say that in Arabic, please do so لأنه we need to maintain some Arabic stuff into it.
Okay.
فبس خليكِ على راحتِك يعني ما راح باضغط عليكِ هيك. بدي أسألِك كبداية أنتم قديش صار لكم الorganization? How long you've been since you started? Just recently?
نحن we officially launched publicly January 1 of this year. أول السنة هاي السنة. والحمد لله we've slowly started building our team. I've been working on this since last year, end of the year. So we were able to officially launch أول هاي السنة.
Wonderful ما شاء الله يعني you're fresh out of the box أنتم بيقولوا.
Yes.
شو هي الصعوبات يعني أنتِ كونِك بلشتِ بمنظمة شبابية على مستوى كندا. You're not a local, you're like across Canada. شو هي الصعوبات? What is the most difficult challenges that you face in starting a youth organization throughout Canada?
So we've launched recently فلساتنا يعني we're still building that awareness and a lot of people ما بيعرفوا إنه we exist yet. So and I know growth takes time and consistency. So simply being new is just a challenge in itself. Canada is really big, so and youth are spread across all the different provinces and campuses. So coordinating nationally is harder than locally. it's easier to build something in one city than across the country. And I know a lot of people are used to working separately, and there's sometimes competition instead of collaboration. So building trust between groups takes a lot of patience. And students are busy, and youth juggle school, family, work, and just leadership in general just takes a lot of commitment. So I think this is something that is difficult and needs work.
Oh, I see. Okay. طيب يعني بشكل عام بدي أسألك سؤال عن اليوث. So my question is about youth in general. شو برأيك الصعوبات اللي بيواجهها المسلم youth in general in Canada? يعني not about your organization. In general, what is the most challenging things that face the Muslim youth in your opinion?
I think identity struggle, 100%. Many Muslim youth, they struggle with balancing their faith and being integrated in the Canadian society. And sometimes they feel either like they're too Muslim or not Muslim enough in one space or not Canadian enough in another. And it's like navigating multiple identities at once. And everybody, youth especially, we're still trying to figure out who we are, and we don't always feel accepted in every space. And I think Islamophobia and stereotypes has a big play into this. So a lot of youth actually experience discrimination or just negative stereotypes. And the media narratives can create fear or misunderstanding, and that can affect, as Muslims in general, our confidence and our belonging. And I realize there's also many youth don't see people like them in leadership positions. There's a lot of lack of representation, and they might not feel like their voices are represented in decisions. And this creates a lot of like frustration and disengagement, and they don't feel very empowered to lead. And I really hope CanadianMYA can really help with that, because we are a lot about leadership. And I know like the older generations here and the youth think differently, and we want youth to participate and make their voices heard and transparency and have no communication gaps.
I see. So I think نحن بنشوف هذا الصراع، يعني ما رح أقول صراع وإنما يعني lack of representation between the older generation and the youth in general. بس نحن specifically in the Muslim societies we have that مثل بيقولوا I don't think we are engaged enough politically as a group. And also the youth, this is another layer of disconnections between the public life, the social activities, and mainly the politically. So, أنت بتشوفي do you see the Muslim youth in general, are they represented politically properly in our community? Well, just like the community is not even there. It has no representations, if I might say that.
I would say there's a couple of representations, but Muslims or Muslim youth specifically, they're not always politically engaged enough in like the broader Canadian society. And I spoke to a lot of Muslim youth, and sometimes we don't feel represented in our own, in the Canadian political spaces, because sometimes we feel that politics is complicated or can be intimidating, or maybe our voices won't make a difference, or maybe there's just not enough civic education or just guidance, and it's almost like we just focus on school and survival and no engagement. But I think there are a lot of Muslim politicians in Canada, but it's very limited, and especially youth representation is still limited. So many of the decisions that affect youth are made without the youth at the table.
Okay. No, that's fair. I mean, we definitely لازم نشتغل كتير على الشغلة هاي. But I think with your organization, this is really a good start. يعني أنت المنظمة تبعكم والجميع والalliance تحالف الشباب المسلم الكندي. I think this is really an amazing idea. Especially start by youth for youth. I think it, and this is very amazing. So as I know, a lot of us, we are just on social media, we're very active, but in a real life بتحسي we feel like we're not as active as it should be. سؤالي إلك أنتم كمنظمة Muslim Youth Alliance, كيف راح تنقلي how we gonna move from being social media active into real activities and in the field?
Yes, we are. A lot of us are really loud on social media and not active on the ground. It's really easy to just repost something, and it's harder to organize an event, or it's easy to argue online, and it's harder to sit in a meeting and build structure. I think we can take conversations happening online and turn them into panels and workshops, and we can turn any frustration into organized projects, or we can online حتى we can encourage youth to attend events, to volunteer, to vote. And for us in our organization, we give youth the roles and the responsibilities in person.
اوكي if you don't mind بدي راح باخذ شويه اسئله اجت على شو اسمه هون. بناخذ سؤال من علي حيدر بقول: ما الخطوات العمليه التي يمكن ان يبدا بها الشباب او الشاب اليوم للانتقال من الاحباط الى الفعل المؤثر؟ How can we move؟ فهمت السؤال ولا ليك اياه بالانجليزي؟
فهمت السؤال. نحن يعني هلا we organize community events that bring youth together. We host fundraisers for important causes. We encourage youth engagement and leadership and participation in civic conversations and community discussions. Our main goal for us is for our youth to not get disconnected from their communities after graduation. So in our organization, they can have a chance to get involved or to advocate. And for us, we want to connect the students across universities, schools, colleges, and across provinces for community events and initiatives. And I want youth to be able to make decisions for our organization. And we make a space for youth to be heard and to participate freely, and not just participate, but actually lead and work and take on initiatives. يعني نحن عنا a voting system, and as a member, you are each member has voting rights, and this means that as youth, you can shape the direction of our organization. So you can vote for the executive leadership team and your community representative, and participate in surveys that will guide our programs. And this is really important because our decisions won't be made by one individual, but collectively by our members. And we also will have members vote for leadership positions, and we'll train these students to lead and represent their communities in front of the Canadian institution and the governments, because our goal is to ensure that the voice of Muslim youth is strong and united and just organized in general across Canada, especially in front of our Canadian government.
Beautiful. Well needed. I definitely agree with that. But بما انه we're talking about leadership, and you انت قلتي يعني this is mainly about the creating leaders in our community. اول شيء بدي احط لك تعليق السيده اكرام من جارتكم بجي تي اي، عم بتقول: ما اجملك ايتها الناشطه الاميره. فهي compliment from your neighbor. وفي عندي لطفي هون بيقول لك: السلام عليكم. وراح انا بسالك السؤال القيادي. When we talk about leadership, شو يعني what does it exactly mean to you in terms of the Islamic and Islamically and Canadian way, and how you connect, how do you define leadership for you as a Muslim youth, and also in a broader range in the Canadian way, especially for you from your position as a youth, which is I'm not going to say your age, but very young.
No, I don't mind. يعني أنا بس عمري 18 years old, so I'm still I'm still young, and
I'm so honored. I'm really happy that you are 18 years old, but you're talking just like somebody who are really seasoned in this. You have no idea how happy I am. So بدي أسألك your understanding of leadership, especially from a Muslim perspective.
So for me, leadership is not about just titles, and especially leadership in Islam is about responsibility and accountability before anything else. It's like taking initiative when you see a gap instead of just waiting for someone to fix it. So I know, like, when I saw youth feeling disconnected and frustrated, I realized, yani, leadership for me means building something and not just talking about what's missing. Like acts of service. If you're in a leadership position, you're serving people who trust you, so you're accountable to them. And that's why, yani, in Canadian MYA, the voting and the democratic structure is really important to me. And leadership should come from the people, and it should answer to the people. So, like, to me, leadership is also, yani, about preparation. I don't want youth to just speak loudly, but I want them to speak confidently and knowledgeably. That's why I want to have these training and mentorship programs and the civic understanding, so we can understand all of these issues before representing others. And I think for Islamic leadership, it requires humility. So if leadership becomes about status or recognition, it loses its sincerity, and a true leader should always be open to advice and to correction.
ما شاء الله عليكي. I think we're going to sit here and learn from you, عمو. This is amazing. I'm impressed. بالعربي بنقولوا سيد القوم خادمهم. That's a very simple way of whomever want to lead a community. He is the servant of that community. So كل واحد بيخدم مجتمعه، بيخدم ناسه، بيخدم أهله. هو تعريفا هو اللي بيحق له يعني يمشي في المقدمة. على كل حال، بما إنه عم نحكي على القيادة وعلى الليدرشيب ضمن اليوث، برأيك شو دور الأهل؟ What is the role of the parents to حتى يطالعوا أبنائهم بيتمتعوا بصفات القادة الواثقين بنفسهم؟
I think parents are the foundation. Yani, they teach us the values, the faith, the discipline, and identity from a young age. And I feel without strong homes, and it's hard to build strong communities. But I think the role of parents evolves as their children grow. So when youth are young, the parents still, yani, guide and protect. But as we become adults, parents also need to trust and support and empower us. And one of the biggest things youth need today is trust. They need, like, we need our parents to believe in our ability to lead and to organize and to make responsible decisions. And parents, yani, they play a key role in encouraging our civic engagement. So when they talk about voting, or when you see your parents, especially as a child, have community involvement and responsibility, we, as youth, yani, we start to learn that engagement matters. And at the same time, there needs to be open communication. So sometimes there is that generational gap where our parents grew up in, like, different environments than we did. But if both sides listen, and I think that gap can strengthen instead of cause a division.
صحيح. مثل ما انت بتعرفي كمان بمجتمعاتنا في كتير خوف على الابناء. يعني بنجاد نحن كمجتمع مسلم في نقدر نعتبر حالنا بشكل عام محافظ، يعني بشكل عام محافظنا على مبادئنا والفاليوز تبعنا. فبالتالي اغلبيه العوائل يعني هن خايفين. Most of us are very conservative in our way of life, in our faith. فبيكون في عندنا نوع من الخوف. We are a little bit يعني afraid that إذا الkids أو youth يعني start to go out and get more involved especially with يعني socially ولا politically، في عندنا نحن شيء من الرهبة إنه this might be dangerous. So يعني we are very protective somehow. ما بعرف إذا لاحظتي هالشيء هذا ولا no.
Yeah.
So what would be the best way to advise parents is to give their youth a chance instead of being afraid that something bad is going to happen, is to raise them in a way that they're going to be ready as a future leader of this community. Yani, how to overcome your fear as a parent?
I think a lot of youth are discouraged from getting involved, especially in civic and political spaces, because there's that fear of controversy and misunderstanding and negative attention. But I think we like to have an honest conversation about that fear. If youth are not involved, then this decision will be made without them, and that can be risky in the long run, because as youth we are the future. So the solution isn't rebellion, but it's trust and education. My advice to parents is obviously your fear is understandable, and many parents have sacrificed a lot. We came from instability, war, discrimination, economic struggle, and just wanting to protect your children is natural and beautiful, but protection and empowerment have to go together. And the world the children grow up in is different from the world our parents grow up in. And in Canada, the engagement is not something to fear. It's something that will protect our rights, especially in the future. So if we're informed and trained and grounded in our values, involvement will actually strengthen us. So instead of asking, why are you getting involved? Just ask your youth, how can you support safely?
Beautiful. And do you think you are getting, so with that mission that you really you just said it beautifully, do you think our مثل ما بيقولوا يعني المؤسسات المجتمعية، ما راح اقول يعني non for profit, but whatever organization we have على Muslim side او المساجد يعني بشكل عام، انت بتحسي يعني the religious institutions او the civic institutions, the Muslims one, are they doing their part, or do you think كمان هن مقصرين يعني they are lacking as well?
I would say we're still new and we're building support and partnership. We're still growing and expanding our network, but we've already collaborated with a lot of wonderful organizations and charities and student groups and professionals for panels and events. And I believe in collaboration. It should be collaboration and not competition, because our goal is not to replace anyone. It's to connect and strengthen what we already have and what already exists. Some organizations are supportive and some are just watching on the side, see how we grow. And that's normal because trust takes time. But what matters is that we are building the relationship, step by step. And we're open to working with anyone who shares the goal with us of youth empowerment.
Beautiful. أنا راح باخذ كمان سؤالين ثانيين من علي حيدر. بيقول لك شو هي المهارات الأساسية التي يحتاجها القائد الشاب اليوم؟ What is the main skills that the Muslim youth leader need to have these days? إذا يعني you want to comment.
Yeah, so I think the most important thing, first thing, communication. As a leader, not just speaking, but just listening. And listening is just as important as talking. Listening to everybody's ideas and to the issues. And, you have to make everybody feel like their voices are heard. I think second is emotional intelligence. You need to understand people, manage conflict calmly, and just respond thoughtfully instead of emotionally. Another important one is responsibility. Leadership is it's not about attention, it's about the accountability. So if something goes wrong, the leader has to take the ownership. Organization, vision is important, but the structure makes the vision real. So a leader needs to plan and follow through all the way. Humility. So if someone can't accept feedback, then they can't grow. And a strong leader is always learning. A strong leader always has to be learning. Courage, a lot. So sometimes, leadership means making difficult decisions or stepping up when no one else wants to.
MashaAllah. Where did you learn all this?
My parents, alhamdulillah.
Your parents. شوف يا عمو هاي الكومبينيشن يعني sorry with all respect to all the كل البلاد العربية but this is the best combination of Palestine and Syria and here you go so you say so you want the best combo here you go Palestinian and Syria.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, well we do have quite a few يعني really good feedback. I just want to pass it on to you. ما شاء الله كلها طاقة وثقة بالنفس، نريد مثل هذه الشباب في مجتمعاتنا طبعا. وهون كمان في تعليق جميل من السيدة ملكة بتقول برافو مريم we need to connect. Okay, where you connect. طبعا I invite you Malika to make a contact with Maryam inshallah if she will share the information with you, but definitely I can see both of you connecting because ما شاء الله عليك يعني Malika is very active also in Calgary. Inshallah, I will leave it you and her to connect. But thanks, Maliki. So, I'm like I don't know how to, I want to listen to you بصراحة يعني بس I want you to just keep talking لأنه نحن سوينا مثل بقول a series of interviews with several different يعني different amazing guests وكانت القصة we were talking about the problem in the leadership within the Muslim community or الجالية العربية. فأنا سميت السيريز is عقدة الزعامة في الجالية العربية. أنت as a young يعني promising community leader إن شاء الله بتحسي إنه في عندنا مشكلة بالقيادة يعني do we have a conflict as sorry to say this as an Arab community when it comes to leadership يعني always there's a struggle who's in the spot who's going to lead. لاحظتيها انت شيء ولا that's something you didn't test it yet or taste it I should say?
Yeah, I've realized, yes, especially as Arabs. I don't think the problem is that we lack leaders. We actually have a lot of many intelligent, capable, and passionate leaders in our communities. I think the issue is not the talent, it's the structure and the culture. So sometimes leadership can be personality-based instead of system-based, and it can revolve around individuals instead of the institution. And when that happens, you know, the sustainability becomes difficult. And in some cases, there can be too much ego, I want to say, especially in Arabs, yani, and not enough collaboration. And there's also that generational gap of how leadership is understood. And for Arab communities specifically, many of our parents and our elders came from political instability and war or environments where civic engagement was risky. So that history really shapes how our leadership is approached today with caution. So I don't want to say we have a leadership problem. I would say we're still evolving in how we build like our leadership systems to be like collective and youth inclusive.
So yeah, I like your word that we're evolving. That's you're very diplomatic. Good for you. I like your answer. But خلينا نكون شوي مثل بيقولوا let's dig a little bit deeper into it. هاي الكونفليكت أو هاي struggle خلينا نسميها يعني leadership struggle وبالذات عم نحكي بالجالية العربية. Is it mainly with the first generation ولا حتى among youth born raised here also they share similar challenges when it comes to leadership?
If we're being honest, yani, the struggle isn't only with one generation. So yani, the older generations, they carry the trauma, the survival mentality, and the caution. But so leadership to them, yani, it means control, protection, or just hierarchy, especially in the Arab community. But youth generations that grew up in Canada, they're more open and they're more expressive. Obviously, there's still yani, certain people who follow into the older generation's footsteps. But usually, yani, youth, they're more comfortable with public engagement, and yani, we value transparency and shared leadership. So I don't want to say yani, the struggle isn't about good or bad. It's just about different experiences that shaped the leadership styles. So yani, sometimes elders, let's say, for example, they struggle with letting go of the control and just trusting youth fully. And at the same time, yani, youth really can struggle with patience and discipline and understanding the sacrifices of our older generation. So there's always going to be that tension when, I want to say, protection meets ambition. So the solution wouldn't be choosing one side, but just dialogue and structure.
Beautiful. يعني إذا نحن حاولنا, if we try to convince the first generation or the older generation to take a deep breath and just step aside and let the so-called the youth generation to take to step up, do you think we'll achieve better results, or can a collaboration between the two generations?
I would say it would be better, but not overnight. So real change in the community, it takes time, patience, trust, consistency, because we're not trying to fix everything over 1 year. We want to build something that's long-term, and we don't want to disrespect the traditions. We want to strengthen the community and especially in the country that we live in. And I think the older generation needs to understand that, engagement in Canada isn't like rebellion. It's us taking responsibility. And when youth organize respectfully and educate themselves and build structure, it actually protects the community more than it harms it.
Beautiful. Well said والله. كمان رح ناخذ شوية. الله يوفقك يا مريم. أحسنتي. دعم الأهل مهم. وأنا بضم صوتي لصوتها وتوجه تحية مرة ثانية your parents. I think they did amazing job. الأهل تعتبر أنهم لا ينتمون. الأهل يعتبروا أنهم لا ينتمون للبلد وعندهم خوف، عندهم عقلية البلاد، ما دخلنا أفكار، بيكسروا بعض. I don't understand. Sorry if you can read it, بس أنا مو واضحة عني. Anyway, الأهل بيعتبروا أنهم لا ينتموا للبلد وعندهم خوف، عندهم عقلية البلاد ما دخلنا فخار يكسر بعضه. I think هذا صح.
Yeah, I can say I agree to a certain extent. Yeah.
والله يعني أمك قالت لك شو بدك بشتغل يا بنتي فخار يكسر بعضه؟ Sorry.
No, I would say no. My mom is very supportive in what I do, and my mom is an advocate like me. So,
well, she's an advocate.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I don't want to put you on the spot. So let's say, Maryam, the public person that we're talking to tonight. معلش يعني, I'm sorry about this question. Is it 50-50 between your mom and dad, or 51-49? And who is the 51? Who is the 49?
What do you mean?
Who's like more supportive in you going out
supportive?
and being just an outspoken and just go get it and just go on faith for us, girl?
I would say it's mixed. Definitely, my mom is more of an advocate, so she's more encouraging, supportive, and she's I'm still studying, so alhamdulillah, she's actually helped me a lot with starting this organization, and she supported me a lot through this. So I think leadership traits is what I take from her.
I see. Okay. هو شايك بيقولوا الأم مدرسة إذا أعددتها شعبا طيب العراقي. فمرة أخرى تحياتي سيدي الوالي. You are beyond wise for your age. 100%. I definitely. Mustafa, this is beautiful. Yes, she's absolutely.
Thank you.
I'm sure you're going to have a lot of fun after this. Let's move to nitty gritty of the Canadian MYA. شو بتحسي هلا? What exactly Canadian MYA is in need? How can we support your organization as a community, as a Muslim community throughout Canada?
First, we need engagement. Most important thing, engagement. We need youth to sign up, to participate, to take initiative, because a network only works when people are active. We need trust. So from parents, from elders, from community leaders, like trust is what, trust that we are building. They have to trust that we're building responsibly and respectfully. We need collaboration. So we're not trying to compete with any other organizations. We want to partner, we want to co-host, we want to build together. So if organizations are willing to work with us, that strengthens everyone. Mentorship, we need mentorship. So from older professionals, community leaders, and just experienced individuals that can guide youth and share their knowledge. Their support is very valuable. We actually have different cultural community associations under CanadianMYA and under our national umbrella. Right now we have Middle Eastern, Syrian, Palestinian, Pakistani, and Bengali associations, and we're working on adding more. On our website, CanadianMYA.ca, we offer free membership, so anyone can sign up. It's open to anyone at any age, and not just youth, because we may have certain events that are open to the broader community. And by signing up, you don't just get updates and attend events and projects and opportunities, but you can join like our cultural and community associations, and you can volunteer, you can lead initiatives, you can even start a chapter of CanadianMYA in your city. And you get access to register for workshops, panels, and mentorship opportunities. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, so you preferred as a vision is to work with organization more than individuals. I take it. Am I correct? To connect the organization together as an alliances more than just individually. People will contact you and say, "How can I help? I can over volunteer with you and all this stuff." So,
No,
so
actually, we work both.
you work both.
Yeah. So, yani, we did collaborations with a couple organizations, yani, co-hosts. We did educational panels and fundraiser. Partnership with the organizations, they help us reach more youth and build stronger networks. But at the same time, we do work with individuals and young professionals and mentors and community members who want to get involved personally. So some people, they want to support as volunteers. Others, yani, they have connections that they can help us, or others, they want to create a program within CanadianMYA to give back to the youth community, even if they're not as youth, or others are knowledgeable about something and they want to speak at our event. So it really doesn't matter.
Okay. And you are across Canada so far, or mainly in the east?
So we are actually all across Canada. So we're still building our communities. Our main communities right now is in Ontario, but we are still building. We have a few members in Montreal, in Calgary. We're still building across Canada, but I'm based in the GTA, so it's a little bit difficult to work. So once we build our team even larger, because we just recently started, inshallah, it will turn into something bigger nationally.
إن شاء الله. So تقريبا what's the best يعني إذا بنحكي على يعني if you want to help out with creating the team and invite the young people to join in, شو الكرايتيريا يعني what's the qualification you think that you're looking for in anybody who want to join, not because just he's a Muslim or she's a Muslim and that's it, they come and join. What is the quality that you're looking for at this time to build your team nationally?
I think it starts with becoming a member first, attending our event.
Is there a membership fee or just to join?
No, it's free membership. It's just the membership, so you can log in and register at your events. And from there, we identify people who are committed and reliable. But we're also, yani, in the next coming 2 weeks, we'll be launching our executive position applications. So any youth who are interested, or anyone in the community actually who's interested for any executive position, is welcome. When we build a team, we don't want to look for popularity or loud voices. We look at the qualities, so responsibility, teamwork, communication, maturity, and then just alignment in general with our values. We're not looking for anyone perfect, just people who are committed.
Oh, I see. Okay, good. And if they want to get a hold of you, is that through CanadianMYA.ca? That's the best way to get a hold of you or to contact you?
You can contact us. We have on our website an email, info@CanadianMYA.ca. So that's for anything you want. And we have our endorsement form on our website and our volunteer form. And you can send a message through your membership login if you want to get a hold of us or need any help with anything.
Okay, so let's think 10 years from today. Do you see yourself doing this? And if so, where do you see CanadianMYA in 10 years?
Inshallah, I see CanadianMYA is something big. Maybe not exactly in the same way now. I don't see it as a short-term project. I see long-term commitment and to the community building, even when I'm no longer youth, just for the future youth generation to take over. Whether I'm in the same role or not, I still want to be contributing to our community because leadership should grow. So in 10 years, I don't necessarily have to be the face of it. I just hope that new youth would have stepped up and taken these leadership roles. And for me, the goal is not to hold a position forever. The goal is just to build something sustainable, and that continues beyond me. So if in 10 years, CanadianMYA is inshallah stronger and more organized and unified and led by trained youth, then I would call that a success.
Absolutely. And إذا بتحبي تحكي شيء يعني if you have something to say, let's say there's 17, 18, 19, 20, whatever years old يعني Muslim youth who feel a little bit I don't want to use the word lost, but you feel like they are not really seeing things clearly in the future because there's some kind of struggle, identity struggle or belonging struggle, or goal struggle. Inti, from your experience, from you as a co-founder of this organization, what is your message mainly to the young people who are young Muslim Canadian who are struggling?
If you feel lost right now, you're not alone. A lot of Muslim youth, we navigate identity, pressure, expectations, and just uncertainty about our future. It's overwhelming.
Right.
But you might feel like you don't fully belong in a space, or if the future looks unclear, but that doesn't mean you're behind. It just means you're still in the process. And struggle does not mean failure. So sometimes struggle is what builds clarity and strength. So if you feel disconnected, maybe start small. Find one space, find a community or a group or a mentor. You don't need to figure everything out all at once on your own. But if you feel scared for the future, remember, your generation has more opportunity and more voice than ever before. So we have to use it, and we have the responsibility to use it. So don't isolate yourself, because isolation will make your fear louder. Stay connected to your faith, stay connected to people, and just stay connected to your purpose.
And do you think being part of your MYA, will it help those people who are trying to find the path forward as a Muslim Canadian youth?
I believe, yeah, it would truly help, not because we have all the answers, but because no one would feel alone. And when you join CanadianMYA, you join a network. You meet other youth who are also trying to grow and figure things out and build something meaningful. It gives you community so you don't feel isolated, structure so you're not lost in the ideas, opportunity to lead, to volunteer, to build confidence, or maybe just to attend events, and then you get your voice heard, a voice through the voting and through participation. So sometimes feeling lost can come from feeling disconnected, but when you plug into a structured, value-based space, the feeling would change. So it doesn't fix everything, but it gives you some sort of direction.
طيب يعني أنا هلا I really need your help. يعني as I've been trying for the last 10 years. So I try to connect with the younger generation, especially youth, because I do believe in your mission. And everything you said is like music to my ears. But بحس إحنا as an adult, we're having our own يعني challenges to connect with the youth. So شو رأيك? What's your advice for the adult to reach in a better way to the youth in general, not to his own kids or her own kids. يعني أنا بحس إنه في big gap between the youth and the first generation. فأنت what's your advice? How can we set يعني shorten this gap?
First, I want to say, I respect the effort. Someone who's been trying to connect with youth for 10 years, that shows, a lot of care. I think one of the biggest challenges is that the world that the youth grow up in is very different than the world the adults grow up in. So the way that we communicate and the issues we face and how we build leadership, and it's really changed. So I would say from both ends, we have to listen more than we speak. So youth, I feel like we sense that we're being lectured instead of understood. So I think adults need to create a space for real participation, not just attendance. So we don't want the youth to just sit and listen. We want them to actually contribute, to plan, to lead. I would say don't approach youth only when there is like a crisis or a problem. So like we have to build these relationships consistently, not only when support is needed. Being open to new ideas. So sometimes youth think differently. That doesn't mean they're wrong. It just means they're shaped in a different environment. And I think importantly, build trust slowly, because trust doesn't happen in one meeting. It happens when youth see consistency and respect and sincerity. So youth we don't expect perfection, just authenticity.
How many people like you think like you in our community?
I'm not sure.
Okay. والله ما شاء الله يعني if I don't يعني أنا بعرف I didn't give you even a chance to know what kind of questions I'm going to ask you. So I know this is just spontaneous. وبنفس الوقت I'm looking at you, I'm seeing you, I'm hearing you. يعني لو ماني شايفك انه you're talking to me like this, ولو ما بعرف انه ما بعثت لك الاسئله, you have no idea what I'm going to ask you, I would thinking that I'm talking to ChatGPT. This is how good you are, Amo. ما شاء الله عليك. يعني I'm impressed by the يعني by the diverse, by the knowledge and the يعني الافكارك بصراحه ملفته جدا للنظر in terms of answers, in terms of vision. this is beyond that. I'm more than impressed. وبتمنى لك الخير وراح بسألك السؤال ما قبل الأخير. How can we help you as a community? نحن يعني كيف ممكن نساعدكم؟ يعني in general throughout the country.
So first, I want to say I don't think I'm unique in how I think. I think there's many youth in our community who feel the same way. We want unity, we want structure, we want representation, we want that long-term growth. The difference is not everyone has the platform or the opportunity to speak about it publicly. A lot of young people want transparency. They want to feel heard. They want to build something sustainable. But at the same time, not everyone agrees, and that's normal. Communities are diverse. But I would say there's a growing number of youth who are thinking in the long term and strategically about our future. But to answer your question about help, so I think we help by choosing collaboration over competition for organizations. So if organizations, leaders, parents, and youth stop seeing each other as rivals and start seeing each other as partners, then that's when everything changes. And I think it would really be helpful to create spaces and to support our spaces where youth would lead and not just attend. So let them plan, let them organize, let them make the decisions while still being guided by your experience. Open communication. So there's many misunderstandings in our communities from assumptions instead of conversations. For us, I would say at the moment, sharing our platform, sharing our mission, sharing our vision and our ideas would be really helpful. And, registering for that membership so you can get to know about all of our upcoming events and any future actions we have would be really helpful.
Maryam, I don't want to يعني to finish this on a negative note, but I want your take على موضوع يعني as a Muslim youth, and do you feel or do you have any concern about the rise of يعني negative messages toward the Muslim in general? Is that a concern for you, or you think this is normal and you're beyond that?
I mean, of course, I have concerns, but I also have a different perspective. There's been an increase in these negative narratives and stereotypes and misinformation about Muslims, especially online. And that can affect how young Muslims feel about themselves and how others see them. But at the same time, I don't think fear is the answer. The way we respond matters more than the negativity itself. So if we respond emotionally or defensively, or if we feed that division, if we respond with education or professionalism and organized engagement, we strengthen our position. Because as Muslim youth, we have to be confident in our identity. We can't let online narratives define us. And we also have to be visible in positive ways. So through our leadership, through our service, our education, and our civic engagement. So negative narratives is not about silence or anger. It's about the confidence and the response and that contribution and how we take action.
Okay. Oh, this is well said. Well, I have 4 minutes left. Is there anything before I ask my last question? Is there anything you would like to say before we wrap this up?
I would say don't walk around feeling afraid. Get involved. If you're interested in leadership positions, or if you're interested in just attending events, reach out. Create a membership. We would love any way of support. We would love, and you can email us if you have any questions.
Beautiful. Is there any event or any activities that upcoming event that people can just jump right into it from your side?
So one thing that we've been working on, we've had a couple past events. So far in the future, we don't have anything upcoming posted yet. But one thing that we're working on, because we believe civic engagement is important, the Syrian Youth Association that's in CanadianMYA, we've been discussing how can youth and students get involved and support the reopening of the Syrian embassy here in Canada. Because the Syrian community here, we deserve proper representation, especially after this war. And CanadianMYA is in contact with some Canadian government officials to request an official welcoming from the Canadian government to the Syrian foreign minister and the Syrian president to Canada, inshallah. So if you want to stay updated or anything, you register for a membership and join our Syrian Canadian Association. And whenever we receive updates, we'll definitely let you know. We are looking to speak at multiple events upcoming in the future, and iftars inshallah soon as well.
Wallahi, I want to thank you, Maryam, for this beautiful يعني 1 hour. I didn't even ما حسيت فيها نهائيا. بدي أقول لك يعني you have no idea how much we are need our youth to take the first take the lead. And as you said, we have our own struggle as an older generation. But I am so optimistic just to listening to you. You have no idea how much I enjoy just having this conversation with you. Inshallah, we're going to have more opportunities in the future. I wish you nothing but really the best. You are absolutely amazing. And I can see, I want to make a call to the Muslim community in Canada. Watch out, Maryam is here for many years to come بإذن الله تعالى. فأنا بتمنى لك التوفيق وتحية للوالدين وتحية لكل المembers تبع your organization. I'm sure this is a collective work. And we are personally, and I think on behalf of the people who's going to listen to this, we are here to help you in any shape or form is possible. عيد رمضان مبارك ونتمنى لك التوفيق. I am beyond happy. And thank you very much for joining me tonight, Maryam.
Thank you so much for the conversation. Ramadan Mubarak, and thank you so much for giving youth a space to speak. I really appreciate it.
وشكرا جزيلا، وبحب اتشكر كل مين شارك اليوم التعليق، واهلا وسهلا بكم على Red FM Calgary 106.7. اسعد الله مساكم وتصبحون على خير.